the arrest of Pastor Augustine Yiga, something to do with spreading false and harmful propaganda in relation to the coronavirus. And I'm saying, if a man is saying that this is mere flu, it is not harmful, he has the right to say so. Let him say so. Or would you arrest him? And if you think he's wrong, then come out, make a speech, and counter what he's saying. You don't arrest him and jail him just because he's changing the narrative. I think that was very sad, one of the saddest moments in this whole COVID crisis. Over and above, others were butchered by the organs of the state and stuff like that. But I think Pastor Bizayo's was to do with freedom of expression. People should be able to say what they think. Being free to express oneself, being free to think the way you want, being free to do what you want, being free to think, to speak, I mean, as you like. So to express oneself is a broad thing. It's not about saying only, it's also about thinking. People should be free to think the way they want, to follow their persuasion, to follow their conviction, to follow their what they feel deep within themselves. So expression begins from within. And then the words are a symptom of what we feel inside, because a word is a thought expressed. So it means that expression must first and foremost begin with the mind, that the mind must be free. To express oneself means you're putting forth what is in your mind, sometimes by saying it, sometimes by doing it, sometimes by engaging or indulging in all forms of whatever, but it's about your mind being expressed or speaking out in whatever form. Fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual are inherent, are not granted by the state. This means we're talking about rights granted to us because we're human beings, rights given to us by the person who made us, that's the Lord himself. So the state has a duty to recognize these rights, to enforce them, and to provide an atmosphere for us to enjoy these rights. And once you understand that, then you know that human beings are by their very nature free. God makes us free moral agents. We are free to choose what we want to do. If you want to worship God, he says, go ahead. If you don't want to worship him, he says, still, you are free. There might be consequences, but it gives you the freedom to choose well on the earth. I think if you look at the whole COVID situation, one narrative that is very disturbing was the thought, or was the position put forward by the government that it had the monopoly of the facts regarding COVID, and that every narrative that did not agree with the government position was therefore wrong, and if you like, it was criminal. And like I noted earlier, we saw a lot of crackdowns on people who are not seen to be agreeing with the government position. The moment you put forward the position that you have the monopoly of the facts, then you're trying to kill freedom of expression. It means you're negating freedom of conscience, of thought, of belief, which are very much protected under the Constitution and under all international instruments regarding freedoms. To me, those are the basic fundamentals of free expression, that somebody has a conscience, he has thought, he has belief, the way he wants them to be. So government cannot have the monopoly of the facts. Now, what does this speak to what's happening today? I think the problem is that government again has put aside all pretense to democracy, to rule of law, and in typical dictatorial manner wants to step on the heads of Ugandans, and we say that is wrong. Governments are supposed to be vehicles through which citizens can enjoy their rights, their freedoms, through which citizens can explore their potential. They should not be avenues or vehicles of inhibiting people's potential. And I think that is what we saw during this COVID, that, okay, the president will be telling us what to do, how we should do it, when we should do it, and all that kind of thing. And I'm saying, no, that is wrong. What Uganda needs is, first of all, a government that listens, a government that respects human rights, a government that has in its DNA a mainstreaming of respect for the human being in its totality, of appreciation for everybody in their diversity, regardless of how we think, of what we think, of what we have or don't or do not have, whether we agree with them or we do not agree with them. People must be appreciated for what they are. And once we do that, then we shall let people be free to think. Now, if we don't have that kind of government, then freedom of expression becomes hard to achieve. I think government needs to take a step towards loosening up a little, not a little, but a lot, and loosening up completely, so that you can let people be free to speak. Once people are free to think and speak, then we shall see innovations that will come out in very, very many ways. But every time you have an idea, then you first have to check, is this politically correct? If I say this, will they arrest me? If I say this, will I still go back home? If I say this, will they not kill me? Now, that is the atmosphere we're having. And my invitation to Ugandans is, let us stand up against this kind of attitude, against this whole disposition. Let Ugandans come out and say, we want to be free to think the way we think, to speak what we want to, and to do what we would like to. I think it's very, very important. If it means to change the government, so be it. Vote in people who are progressive, who like people, who respect human beings, who respect human rights, and who want to see, who just be happy seeing Ugandans happy.